This video is to really just document the change that I'm going to make in my truck. There's not a lot of videos on YouTube where people just subtly lift the Tacomas. It's either a lot or they do the leveling kit, which I don't particularly like. I think it's a truck. It should be taller in the back. So I've done some, little minor customization to this. It's a 2015 Tacoma. It's got about 87,000 miles on it. So it's far from new, but it's in great shape. No rust, no dings. I've done a little bit of customization. I put these side rails on. I did this brush guard thing. I did the anytime camera, so added a front camera that works along with the rear camera. I did LEDs in the front. That's just my bike rack, not really a mod, but I did put on those rails, which I love. What else did I do? I did this little step back here, right? This thing works great to get up in the bed. I changed out these lights with LEDs. And now it's time for rims, tires, and a badge update and a little bit of a lift. So if you want to see what I'm adding and how this turns out, stay tuned. So first up is the rims and tires. I went with the TRD rims. I got them on Amazon from a Toyota dealer. I really like sticking with stock stuff. I like it when a vehicle looks like the truck the manufacturer should have made, right? That's just me. I'm going to do spacers because I want them to line up with the outside edge here. These are only 1.25 inches. They're not that much at all. It'll just give it a little bit wider track. And most of all, fill up the wheel well out close to the fender. I think that'll be nice. New lug nuts, black, which match. It'll look really good. I'm getting rid of all the chrome. And then, of course, these tires, which are Geolander ATXs from Yokohama. This is only one size bigger, 265 70 17s. What's on there now is 255 70 17s. But much more aggressive tread, much deeper. And the reason why I went with these is because it's kind of a in between mud and AT, mud and all-terrain. And I wanted that look, but I don't want the humming horribleness that happens with mud tires. As far as the suspension goes, like I mentioned, I really think that the truck should look taller in the back. So I'm doing a 2.25 inch lift in the front, which is called a leveling kit. It is really just a spacer that goes right up here, right here in between the spring and this housing, and just gives you, 2.25 inches of lift. It's a really simple installation. You just take these bolts off, drop it, put the new one in, and you are raised up in the front. And then in the back, because I've already got add a spring in here, you can see it right here. I've got it torqued down pretty tight, so I'm getting like 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches of lift anyway because of that spring. I put that on there so it won't squat when I hook up my boat. And I don't want to eliminate the rake, so I'm just going to add a 1-inch block right up here, right under the axle. This is what it looks like before, and that 1-inch block goes right in between the leaf spring and the axle, and that'll just maintain the rake, I think. We'll find out. Truck goes in tomorrow. The last thing I'm doing, which these parts aren't here yet, is changing out this sticker. I'd like to keep the sticker, but I'm gonna make it matte black. And then changing out these emblems to matte black and the emblems on the tailgate. I'm matching exactly factory. It's going to say pre-runner, Toyota, V6, Tacoma. Everything's going to be the same. It's just going to be matte black now. And I'll get rid of all of the chrome. So truck goes in tomorrow to have this stuff done. Keep watching. I really can't wait to see how it turns out. All right, we are next day here, and it's a little overcast. Actually, it's a lot overcast, but love the look. I think these tires and rims are perfect for this color. The lift kit came out exactly the way I wanted it to. I've still got a little bit of that rake in the, taller in the back. Let me show you what is actually doing this. It's just a leveling kit up front, like I mentioned, and you can see now the difference. It's just a spacer that goes right in between the spring and the top of the spring housing, or whatever that's called. And then in the back, it's a block, like I said before, that goes right in between the axle and the leaf spring. You can see it right there above the hoses. And new longer shackles, but really just lifts the whole truck an inch off the axle. So pretty simple concept. Here's the thing I don't like. I don't like the spacers. I think they stick out too far and they rub in the front, so that's a problem. And I'll show you what I really don't like is when you look at it from the back here, that mud flap is now, it looks ridiculous. It looks like it's in the wrong place, and the tire just sticks out too far. I want it to line up. If the tires were fatter, then A+, right? This would look great, but the tires aren't fat enough for these spacers. So when I get the new lug nuts, the black lug nuts, because the ones that I showed in the video earlier were the wrong lug nuts, they weren't deep enough, I'm going to pull off the spacer and put it back in and see how I like it. Either way, I'm going to have to do something because I can't really drive around with it rubbing, but that's what it looks like from the front. It just sticks out too far in my opinion. So anyway, stay tuned. Once those lug nuts come in, I'll show you that. And then of course the labels or emblems, they aren't in yet, but as soon as they come in, we will change out those. The Tacoma saga continues, but so far, really like the look. Stay tuned. Okay, so I just did the back one. Here's what it looks like. I'm happy. It sticks out. It's lined up with the fender. Exactly how I think it should be. It's more appropriate to the fender. I mean the mud flap. It's more appropriate to the mud flap. It still sticks out compared to this side, which I think sticks out too far. So, not done. Done. I'm good. I'm gonna do the front, and this is what the black lug nuts look like versus the silver, so that's pretty cool. Can't wait for that to come in. Whew, that is actually a lot of work. So here's the front. Sticks out nicely, unlike too much. See the difference? It's pretty significant. Right where it should. Yep, that's what I want. So, doesn't change the look at all to the side. I'm going to, see, here's this side. I'm not gonna get further enough away, but I'll show you this side. It doesn't really change the look, I don't think. Maybe a little, but I think it looks so much better tucked in there. So we'll go ahead and do the other side and then take it for a spin and see if I get any rubbing. Okay, whew, no more spacers. And I am freaking exhausted. All right, I like the way this looks from the front. It looks good. I gotta get that wheel chuck out of there. So I think that looks way better. You be the judge. My personal preference is no spacers. So at least I tried it, If I didn't try it, I would be definitely wondering forever what it looked like. So I'm glad I did, and I'm also glad they are off. All right, cranked all the way over. It's missing by that much, so I may have to take that off, maybe. Let's see what it looks like on the other side. Oh yeah. Yeah, looks good. All right, so if I hear anything, I might have to just take that little extra off right there. I did end up having to remove this flap. It went right here. You just remove the screws, take the flap off, put the screws back in, and you know, it does give it kind of a cleaner look up in there, but it prevents the rubbing. So that fixed that. No rubbing at all, even with bumps. There's just no rubbing. All right, here's the finished product. You can see I've already changed out the badge, but suspension done. I think it looks fantastic. Let you look at it for a minute. I'm going to do the badges back here today. Got those in. So those will all be matte black, but there's a look down the side. And up under in the front. Looks great, really, really great. Very happy with the wheels, tires, and the suspension. Oh, here's a look at that badge. Badge just looks great in that flat black. I made a video on that. I also made a video removing the decal here. So be sure to check that out. I'll put links at the end here. But that is the finished wheel, tire, and suspension on a 2015 Tacoma Gen 2. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.